Max. Yeah, hey. Yo, season after season, I cook something they believe in. Similar to Santa Claus or White Jesus. Everybody rapping, but nobody tell the truth. Cause they say you spazzing when you wake up, drop a Jesus. Don't put no auto-tune on this one, this is presidential. My versatility just lasts with what they think I will do. I run the city while you sleeping, that's why they don't feel you. You stole so much of my swagger, dog, I should probably bill you. Hollywood.
Hey.
Thanks, Regina.
So I am here today with Basquiat. He's an artist, a writer, a singer, a rapper extraordinaire, doing, and he's doing a lot of wonderful things with his life. And you had reached out to me because you were curious about.
I was curious about a lot of stuff. We had a conversation all the way back in 2014 where we talked about past lives. We talked about what that means. You know what I'm saying? Like all the burdens and stuff that I carried into this life, and like different points and times in my life since then. Like I've referenced that email or going back to it. You know what I'm saying? Like just to read it, just to look through it. Because I feel like over the past couple of years, especially, you know what I'm saying? Like I've been looking for something. You know what I'm saying? Like an answer, if that makes sense. Like just trying to figure myself out. Because the more I try to explain myself and the way my mind works to other people, the more I realize like I don't even get it. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I'm trying to understand it.
Understand the past lives.
Right. To help me understand my current life.
Okay. Well, I mean, we live many, many lives, and the whole theory and ideology about past lives is really something that is just starting to manifest in the West where we are. It's really tailored toward a lot of Eastern religions, but it's catching on because we do live many lives until we get it right, until we work through our karma. And the other thing too is people don't understand that reincarnation is a part of many religions, and another thing I don't think people understand is that Jesus reincarnated 13 times before he became, his 13th life was that of Jesus, but he lived 12 lives prior to getting to that, and he even taught reincarnation, but he only taught that concept to Mary Magdalene, Judas Iscariot, and Thomas. And the reason why he chose those three to teach reincarnation to was because Mary, being a woman, the world would look at her and see, well, she's a woman, so she's not going to have a political platform to stand on. Right. No one was going to believe Judas because they saw Judas as a traitor, when in actuality, he wasn't a traitor because Jesus asked him to do what he did in delivering him up. And Judas did that because he grew up with Jesus. He came from a wealthy family. Jesus came from a poor family. And he knew what Jesus was capable of doing. So he felt like when he delivered Jesus up to the Pharisees that he would perform some type of miracle that would free him from the crucifixion. But what Judas didn't understand was that the crucifixion was the miracle. And then when it came to Thomas did not believe anything. What's that saying? I'm doubting Thomas, but there's a saying that goes with that from the Show Me state. Missouri. Yeah. That's it. That they say if you're from Missouri, that you got to show me. You can't tell me. Yeah. So he felt like Thomas would doubt anything that Jesus told him until Jesus gave him when Jesus came back and showed the wounds in his hands and in his body, for him to see that this was real.
Right.
And that was the only way that Thomas was going to believe it. But we do reincarnate many lives until we get it right. And the other thing I wanted to mention is that in the process of reincarnating, there are different types of relationship types. So we have karmics, we have karmic relationships, we have twin flames, and we also have soulmates. And I'm going to start with the karmic.
Okay.
Now, a karmic is a soul that comes into another person's life. They don't have a past with the person that they're in a relationship with. So there's no reference point. So as if you were in a karmic relationship, you have a reference point, and we'll get to that in a minute.
Okay.
But with a karmic comes into your life to teach you a lesson. Okay. And they are very hard relationships. And I know a number of people that are in karmic type relationships because the karmic is there to break you by any means necessary to get what they want. But they're also there to learn a lesson too.
Right.
And so these relationships are tumultuous. They're very difficult. The karmic will promise you anything to get what they want, and then they'll go back on that because now they have what they want. But their whole objective is to break you. And the person that's being broke or that's trying to be broken, they have to look at that situation, and it's normally centered around self-worth. And so the karmic comes in to break your self-worth because no, it's my way or the highway. Okay. And the person that's learning this lesson, you know what, they have to find their self-worthiness or they're going to be doomed.
Right.
And so every relationship that the karmic gets into, this is their modus operandi. Okay. And so that's the karmic relationship. And Quaid's in a karmic relationship. Do you know Quaid? Okay. Quaid has a karmic in his life. And then the next relationship, we have karmic mates, and you're in a karmic mate relationship. And what that means is that you have lived 19 lives, and your karmic mate, you've been in 14 lives with this person. And you come back together with your karmic mate because you have unfinished business. And I'll tell you a little story about a young lady in California. She had a lifetime with her karmic mate, and her karmic mate murdered her in 22 lifetimes. So they come back together in this lifetime. And she fell hell over heels in love with this person because she's not remembering the past until their relationship became very volatile. And then she went and had a hypnotherapy session done, and she realized that she had died in 1926 in the Boston area, and she described in detail what she was wearing. And she kept talking about these red suede shoes that she had on, and that her body was dumped under a bridge. Okay. Well, they got a crew together to go investigate this, and they found her red shoes underneath this bridge. And then she realized that the person that she was dating was her killer. And she realized that she was very close to losing her life again in this lifetime. But she was able to break the cycle in this lifetime in dealing with her karmic mate. Okay. So when we have unfinished business with our mates, we fall into a karmic relationship. And I will say that maybe, I hate to put a percentage on something, but I will say maybe, I don't know, 69, 70% of the relationships on the planet are karmic related relationships. And I'm not saying that they are all volatile the way the one I just explained,
Right.
but it does mean that you have unfinished business.
Okay.
And then we have soulmate relationships. I just feel like this whole expression of soulmate relationships is just totally blown, totally out of proportion, because all you hear is, "Oh my God, I'm looking for my soulmate," and da da da. I want someone that's gonna
Almost
finish.
like it's trendy or something.
Yeah, it's trendy. Is as if they're looking for someone to finish their sentences, eat all the same vegetables they do, and everything is just gonna be
Regina
very
shit.
kumbaya,
Yeah.
and a soulmate relationship is a relationship that you take a spiritual journey with someone on. And it doesn't have to be a relationship, a platonic relationship. It doesn't have to be marriage. If you have a child, your child could be your soulmate. If you have a sibling, they could be your soulmate.
Right.
So a soulmate relationship can fall into any category.
And I believe that's what you said, me and Will, where when we did the Glorious documentary, you described me and Will.
Will, the painter in New York? Yes, that you guys are soulmates. Yes, that's very possible. That's very possible. I think I did tell you that. I think I did. And so, but I'm not saying that soulmate relationships can't be one-on-one relationships within a relationship,
Right.
because you can have couples that take a spiritual journey together. But I just think it's just totally blown out of proportion, because every time I hear something, it's, "Oh my God, I'm looking for my soulmate." And then I have to ask myself, do you even know what a damn
What it is.
soulmate relationship is?
Right.
And then the highest form of relationships are twin flames. And a very small percentage, I'm going to say about 1% of the world population are twin flame relationships. And a twin flame relationship is two souls that are created at the same time, and they're also on a spiritual journey. But the whole thing with a twin flame relationship is that it's the love that exists between them, and they are always together. Even if they are in different relationships, they are always together in the spiritual. And eventually these relationships do come together, but they're not easy relationships either, because you have the runner and the chaser. So one is going to be well aware that that's my twin flame, even though they may be in a relationship with someone else,
Right.
working through karmic issues.
Now,
So one's going to be running and the other one's going to be chasing.
now the person who's chasing, you know what I'm saying, like, would you say that person usually knows the reason that they're chasing?
Yes.
Like, I know this is my twin flame and I know why. Like,
Yes.
type thing.
Yes. And it's just a matter of time before the runner stops running, and he realizes the extent of the relationship, because there's something about twin flames. They know on a soul level it is so deep that nothing will really keep them apart, even if they have business that they need to take care of, karmic related business and other relationships. Eventually they do come together.
Now, when you say he, like, does that mean like the man is usually the one running?
No.
Okay.
No.
Or is that just
Well, let me tell you something. In twin flame relationships, they don't change sexes. Okay. Like in a karmic relationship, you can change sexes. So let's say in your last lifetime you were a woman and your mate was the man, because you're learning things from different perspectives. But in a twin flame relationship, the male is always the male and the female is always the female. They don't change identities to learn things from different perspectives.
Gotcha.
But in karmic relationships, they do. So, like your girlfriend in this lifetime, she could have been the man, and you could have been the woman,
right?
Because you're learning things from different perspectives.
Okay.
And this also applies to same-sex relationships too, where you have two men or two females. It's all the same. And I always tell people this. It's like, let's say you've spent the last 10 lifetimes with your girlfriend, and let's say she comes back in this lifetime and she's a man.
That sounds funny, but I got you.
But I mean, just let's say she's a man. Do you stop loving that person?
Do we have a choice? Like I said,
You
all
always
this
have a
seems like
choice.
it's connected.
It is connected, but you always have a choice because you have free will. But do you stop loving that person because they're same sex?
Well, I mean, me in this lifetime.
Not you per se, but I'm just saying. But see, you say that, but you don't know. You don't know that.
Sure I know.
You don't know.
Why don't I know that?
Because you could have a really strong platonic relationship with that person.
Okay, I wasn't looking at it in that way. So I guess I get what you're saying.
You know, you don't, because the soul always knows. Because and I mean, theoretically, it's not about you anyway. It's about what your soul needs. It's about the soul growth. And believe it or not, we do choose these types of relationships. If you, let's say, you came into this lifetime, and one of the things that you needed to learn was diversity.
Right.
And I think in choosing to come back as a gay or lesbian person, which is absolutely nothing wrong with that, that would be a good way to learn diversity. So there are many reasons why you would choose these relationships.
Right.
So don't say never.
Okay.
Because you don't know, and it's all based on what you need to learn.
Right.
Right.
Right. I feel that.
Okay. He's shaking his head like I ain't feeling this.
No. I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. This lifetime of me is having a hard time rapping it. But I got you though.
Yeah, and I think depending on where you are in your learning curve, I think when it comes to this is just my opinion. I think that when people choose these relationships of being, I guess they call it gay, whether it's male or female, I think it really has to do with where you're on a learning curve too. Because I think the younger you are as a soul, as far as your incarnations, I think it would be something that you would want to hide from the rest of the world. It's like you don't want anybody to know that that's who you are from that perspective. And I think people like the Harvey Milks of the world, like in San Francisco, who was a gay activist, you know, back in the 80s, you know, are far more advanced and
in their soul lives and stuff.
Exactly, and so they can reach out and stand up for what they believe, you know, where versus someone that's a younger soul, they may not do that because they don't want anybody to know that this is their theme, this is what they do. I mean, as if it's something to be ashamed of. It is not, you know, because this is what you chose. And this is the life you chose to live, you know. So because there's some type of lesson attached to everything that you choose. I mean, and looking at your own relationship with how do you pronounce your girlfriend's name? Tiana. Yeah, you guys have your ex-girlfriend. Oh, thank you for correcting me. But you know,
she was gonna do it if I didn't do it. So.
Well, I'm not going to get into who broke up the relationship, but you guys were, I'm not going to say were, you are a lot alike. And I look at what you have brought into the lifetime. You've lived 19 lives. and you and your ex-girlfriend have spent 14 lives together. So you know each other on the soul level, on a really deep level. But me understanding who you are, and I understand who she is, you know, you have this theme to your life where you were just born very serious, and you have very rigid ideas. And I told you were born, when I told you you were born very serious, it's like you brought all your burdens into this lifetime with you, and it's based around comfort and possessions and a narcissistic attitude. I'm sorry. My apologies. No, I'm not going to apologize. I am not going to apologize. And because in your past, it's like your past taught you how to take a handful of clay and build an empire. And once you started building that empire, then you had the money, the possessions, the big house, and all of that. And this became your Achilles heel, the comfort of it all. The comfort of it all.
Okay.
And so you've brought all the burdens of that into this lifetime with you, because you're still looking for the comfort, the status, and the so on, if that makes sense.
It makes perfect sense.
But one thing that suffered in those lives, which I see in this lifetime, is that while you were busy out making your fortune and your possessions and getting the money and all of that, is that your relationship suffered, because you put that almighty dollar ahead of everything else. So now in this lifetime, you're still building that comfort zone for yourself.
Right.
And your relationships are suffering. Am I putting you on the spot?
A little bit.
I'm sorry, but
nah, you're right though.
But you asked me.
No, that's a fact.
You did ask me.
That's a fact.
And I'm not trying to put you on the spot.
No, you good. But
you know, because you're stubborn.
Yeah.
You are stubborn. You're gifted. You are, you have a lot of things going on for you in this lifetime. I have no doubts that you're not going to make it.
Right.
But all of that comes before your relationships.
So how do the two coexist? You know what I'm saying? Like, or can it coexist?
Well, I think you have to ask yourself, what's more important?
So they can't coexist. I gotta pick one.
No, I'm not saying you have to pick one, but I think you have to balance it out. It has to be balanced. You know, like your ex-girlfriend, you guys are cut from the same cloth. And I see her being more nurturing, you know, with the home, the family and children and things like that. I feel like that's more important to her than building this lifestyle that you're building. You know, it has to balance somewhere. Right. I mean, and you have to find a way to make it work.
See, and that's my thing. I always thought that was the cool thing about it. You know what I'm saying? That it was like, I'm so focused on this, but you focused on that. I thought that was the balance. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm yin, you yang type thing.
The yin and the yang?
Yeah. Like, I can go hard at this, you know what I'm saying? Because I know she's going to go hard for this. You know what I'm saying? So that way I can have both type thing.
Well, something fell through the cracks.
That's a fact.
And you're the only one that knows what that is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Something fell through the cracks, so therefore there's no balance.
Yeah.
And there also has to be compromise.
I feel like it just got to a point where, like, the trust was gone. You know what I'm saying? Because she did something that caused the trust to be gone. You know what I'm saying? Like, so at that point, to me, it was like, even though I didn't trust her, you know what I'm saying? Like, I still know that I want to be with her. You know what I'm saying? Like, above all else. But in those spaces when we are together again, it's like, all right, cool, we're going to make this work. I still don't trust you. So I can't act like I do when I don't. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just that still underlying feeling.
No, I get it. And because you're honoring what you feel.
What's inside. And then, but what I feel like I feel like what it manifested into is me doing something foul out of retaliation or spite. You know what I'm saying? Like, instead of using my words or, you know what I'm saying? Like, just expressing how I feel, fully forgiving her type thing, like, something else happened. You know what I'm saying?
Or did the narcissist just take center stage?
Yeah, that's what happened. That's definitely what happened. So,
because a narcissist is, they feel like they have a sense of entitlement.
yeah.
You know.
You gonna do that to me? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that to you.
Yeah.
Yes, we are going there. Yeah, narcissists, they do have a sense of entitlement.
Right.
And it's about me, not me, but it's about you.
Right. I feel you.
You know, and so it's like there has to be a dividing line,
Mm-hmm.
or you can forgive, but that doesn't mean you have to forget.
Now, how does that work? Because when I forgive, because I said I forgave because I believe I forgave. And then as time went on, I had to start asking myself, like, did I really forgive? You know what I'm saying? Like, because I think about this a lot. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I know you don't have to forget, but it was like, if we weren't in each other's presence, you know what I'm saying, then I can, like, see you, you know what I'm saying, and know, like, I can feel the love that you're giving off. And it's like, as soon as we separate, now my mind is just like
because
a wasteland of thoughts of, like,
you're still carrying the pain of it all. Mm-hmm. Whatever this is, and I don't need to know,
right.
But you're still carrying the pain of it, and whatever that was, it's something that really cut you deeply.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not even that; it's that you haven't allowed yourself to heal from it. See, when we carry all of our excess baggage,
mm-hmm.
you have not allowed yourself to heal. And the other thing too is, how do you know the reason why you haven't allowed yourself to heal is because this has happened to you before? Because you guys have spent 14 lives together.
Mm.
So maybe whatever this was that happened, how do you know that you are not reliving something that happened in the past? And so now it has happened again. So now it's like a double whammy.
Yeah,
and so whatever this is, maybe it never healed from the past. And you brought that pain.
No.
Because we do carry all of our excess baggage from lifetime to lifetime to lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
And so now you've been hit with the same situation again in this lifetime, and that makes it hurt even more.
Yeah.
Because subconsciously you are remembering something that you are not allowing yourself to let go of because you haven't allowed yourself to heal from it.
Now, when you say haven't allowed myself, I'm saying so it's not that it's just not healing. You know what I'm saying? Because my whole thing is, and that's something that we talked about a lot too, where it was just like, okay, I get it. You know what I'm saying? You hurt. But if we're doing this forgiveness thing, you know what I'm saying, like, all right, what can I do to help you? You know what I'm saying? Like, get over the hurt. You know what I'm saying? Get past it type thing. And, like, as time went on and passed, it's just like, nah, it's still there. It's definitely still there. You know what I'm saying? So
because it hasn't been released. And normally when people hurt you or when you're struggling with something very deep rooted and internal, you have to release it out to the universe with love. If not, it's just going to stay where it is until you go back and address whatever the issue is. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I have issues too. Mm-hmm. I struggle with things too.
Right.
And I kind of felt like I was having a meltdown the other day about something because I was thinking about something from my past that I thought I had gotten over.
Dealt with already.
And I realized that I'm still struggling with it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm talking about something from the womb.
Right. Right.
And I was really taken back by that, because I said, "Oh my God, I can't believe that I'm still struggling with this issue that I have." And so now I have to begin again and readdressing this issue and looking at myself and asking myself, why can't I let go of this? Because when things happen in my life that take me back to that point, it's like, what's going on in my life right now that's taking me back to being in my mother's womb that I'm not letting go of.
Because it's stuff, like, even thinking back, like, it's stuff like, I don't think this situation is any more unique than other things that have happened to me in the past. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've been cheated on before, I've been hurt before, you know what I'm saying, type thing. So, like, it goes back to that question you just asked, like, why? Like, why is it this one? You know what I'm saying? That's difficult to let go. Like, why is it this situation that's like, all right, I'm struggling with, you know what I'm saying? Like, because things in the past, like, not to say it's just like nonchalant, but it don't take that long. You know what I'm saying? Like, after a while, it's just like, okay, that was what that was. You take the lesson from it and you move on, type thing.
You know what? I don't even think it's about time.
That's what I kept saying. I was like,
I don't think it's about time. I think you can put time on pain, because it's something that's going to linger in you. And not only that, the other thing too is, so you went through a situation that was very painful for you, right? So not only is there a lesson in it for you, there's a lesson in it for her too. So you don't know what she's going through.
Right.
Okay? But the reason why you're still holding on to this is because there's a lesson attached to it that maybe you haven't addressed, and it's going to be about you. Because you know when you're angry with people, the first thing you do is point to them. You know, this is your shit. You caused this. Da 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 da.
Right.
And we have a tendency not to look at ourselves. And you being a narcissist, you're not going to look at yourself. Sorry. You're not going to look at yourself.
Right.
You're not going to look at yourself, you know, but you're going to look at the other person. But see, for the simple fact that you're still carrying this around, then it's something you haven't addressed within yourself about it. And then if you go get in another relationship,
just carrying that shit right over.
You just carrying this baggage. I told you. We come in the world. We got knapsacks and backpacks and all kind of stuff on our back, because we're bringing. And you, of all people, who have brought all your burdens into this lifetime, so you just brought every damn thing. So you really have to look at yourself and ask yourself, mainly about this situation. You know, ask yourself, why am I not letting this go? What keeps me holding on to this? I think everybody has to do that. I mean, I have to do this myself.
Right.
I mean, I've gotten over a lot of stuff in my lifetime, but there's just this one thing within me, one thing that is in me that I have not let this go of, you know? And I think it has a lot to do with abandonment. And I'm being straight up honest about that, because I think there are things or people in my life that make me feel that way.
Make you feel abandoned?
And I'm still struggling. I mean, when my dad died 44 years ago, it took me forever to get over that, because I felt like, I was at the point where I was ready to have an adult type relationship with my dad.
Right.
And not just be his little girl.
Right.
And when I got to that point where I'm ready to start anew, or see my dad from a different perspective, he was gone.
Yeah.
That, to me, that was like abandonment. Even though I agreed to this shit in my life planning. And now I find I'm still struggling with certain aspects of that, because now I see abandonment in other things. If that makes sense.
That makes perfect sense.
So I'm asking you to, and I understand what my situation is. I'm not in denial about shit.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
Because I'm always, like I told someone the last time I was talking, that, you know, you got to see your life as onion, and you got to peel all the layers back, you know, and you just got to be gut-wrenching honest with yourself about what you're experiencing and feeling. And I'm doing that. I'm still doing my work. But the point is, you have to do the work. That's the only way you're going to grow.
Right.
So that when you get in the next relationship, you're not bringing all the excess baggage. Because if you do, then the shit's just going to repeat itself with a new person.
Right. Yeah.
So, if that makes sense.
Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, so, but being a narcissist, that may be hard for you.
Yeah, I just, like I said, because I think, like you said, for you, being the abandonment, that issue that was difficult and still is difficult to hurdle over. Like, for me, I feel like if I had to pinpoint, like, cause even looking back on that situation, it's like just the fact that you're choosing somebody over me, like, it's really that simple. It's like, how?
See, there you go. How can they choose someone over you?
Yeah.
That's the narcissist talking.
But nah, cause I'm saying, like, being with me. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I understand what you're saying.
Okay.
But you're saying, how can this person, your girlfriend, how can they choose someone over you? That's the narcissist talking. But then you have to ask yourself, what were you not bringing to the table to put them in a position
to make that choice.
Choose to make that choice? That's what you're not understanding. And you have to be gut-wrenching honest with yourself. And I'm telling you, this is very hard for people to do. I tell people this all the time. You need to look at yourself. All parts of it, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And really understand who you are and what you brought to the table, what you didn't bring to the table, for someone to make a decision like that.
Okay, I got another thing too, but go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go.
I was gonna say the other part about that decision that really threw me off is when the question was asked, just blatantly, you know what I'm saying? Like, what is that thing? You know what I'm saying? Like, what is it? Like, the answer was like, I don't know. That's what really got me. Like, so you made this decision and you don't know why.
They know why.
So then you gonna make it again. You know what I'm saying? Like,
they know why. They know why, but maybe at the point when you were having the conversation,
they want to protect my feelings or something like that.
Maybe they really couldn't articulate why. And the reason why I say that is because maybe they're still struggling with the why. Even though on a soul level, on a deep soul level,
they get it.
They know why.
They get it.
But it's like, you know, maybe I can't bring this to the surface right now,
right.
You know, for whatever reason. Maybe I can't articulate this where you will understand it because they're struggling with it. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But the thing about it is that in your life planning, you agreed to this.
To what?
You look, there are no mistakes, no accidents, and no coincidences. So whatever went on between the two of you, you agreed to it. So go back and ask yourself, why did I agree to this?
So you saying like I knew everything? I knew what she was gonna do, what I was gonna do.
Yes,
yes. Sign me up.
Yeah, you knew. You knew because it wouldn't have happened if you hadn't agreed to it.
Well, knowing me, if I agreed to it, then there's more to the story.
Yes, subconsciously.
Oh,
Subconsciously, you agreed to this. the same way you agreed to be together in this lifetime. Maybe a cycle had to be broken. I don't know. You're the only one that can answer this. And that means you have to dig deep within yourself. I think a lot of times when people are in relationships, I think that they can be very superficial and just deal with things on the surface. I always like that dealing with things on the surface, I like to call that putting a Band-Aid on a leak in a dam. Because you know the Band-Aid's not going to hold, right? And just when you think you have gotten things sorted out, the Band-Aid comes off again. You know, so now you're back to square one. Because I feel like a lot of people are afraid to go into the deep end of the pool, so to speak, and dealing with themselves from a mental and emotional level. And the reason why I think that is because I feel that they are afraid of what's there. Because I think when you go into the deep end of the pool and dealing with yourself from an emotional level, it's like, do I really want to know?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Can I just slap a Band-Aid on it and just call it a day and move on? That the Band-Aid theory is going to work for a little while, but then it's going to break out again. Whatever you're going through, because it's like the issue never gets resolved.
Right.
It doesn't get resolved for either party. If one person is walking away with the baggage, they're just taking that baggage into another relationship. And then the shit starts all over again. So I really, I try to encourage people to just get in the deep end of the pool and really figure out who the hell they are, you know, psychologically, and why shit's not working. But most people are so afraid of doing that. And I live in the deep end of the pool. If that makes any sense.
That makes a lot of sense.
Now that you've got your walking papers and you need to get in the deep end of the pool.
Right, definitely got to go deep end. I really wanted to get into the next couple names. I want to know.
Well,
what my energy is with them.
Well, I can tell you this, Chelsea. You've been fluctuating between Chelsea and Tiana in 11 lifetimes. So you've actually been with both of them in 11 lifetimes together.
That just sounds crazy. Like,
no, I mean,
wow.
You've been back and forth between these two women.
Like, meaning lifetime to lifetime?
In 11 lifetimes, both of these women have been in your life. Okay? And you've been back and forth between the two of them. All right? And then your new friend, Diamond, is that her name? She's new. You don't have a past with her. Now, are you going to bring Chelsea and your ex-girlfriend's baggage into your relationship with Diamond?
That's what I don't want to do.
That's why you got to get in the deep end of the pool. Yeah, but you've been back and forth with these two. You've been with your ex-girlfriend 14 lifetimes, and you've been with Chelsea 11 lifetimes. And these two ladies, their lifetimes have been overlapping with yours, with the three of you being in all the lifetimes together.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And then your new girlfriend?
It just sounds like he got like 3 girlfriends at the same time.
I know, but he has 3 different situations. He has 3 different situations going on.
Why he's in the Navy to go into the deep end. You know what I'm saying?
Huh?
It makes me wonder.
Yeah, and it is ironic. It isn't that ironic? Isn't that a sign of symbolism right there?
What?
That he's in the Navy?
Are y'all serious?
And I'm telling you to go into the deep end. It's symbolic. It is very symbolic.
Okay.
And look about how you feel about the Navy? I'm trying to get out. See, you trying to get that comfort, bro.
Ooh,
Because
okay,
because you know why,
I
and being in the Navy, being in the deep end, that's not his comfort zone.
Then the Navy's not.
That being, I'm using the Navy as a sign of symbolism,
Right.
you know, because it deals with water, and when you deal with emotions are like being in water.
Okay.
Because emotions sway.
Yeah.
Like this.
Right.
And so you have this symbolic life right now where you're in the Navy, you're attached to water, and you need to be in that deep end from an emotional standpoint to figure out who you are and why you do what you do besides being a narcissist.
Does that
I keep calling him a narcissist.
does that come does that come with isolation, or is that more so surrounding myself with the people that I'm trying to figure out?
Well, instead of you trying to figure them out,
Figure myself out.
you need to figure yourself out. Because the one thing I see in relationships is this. You can be in a relationship, and let's say things are up and down. One person wants to fix the other person, you know, so it's going to balance out. But that's not how it works. You can't fix another person. I don't care what you throw at it, sex, money, ... It's not going to fix the other person. It is not going to fix the other person because you have to fix yourself. So you have to remember that.
Okay.
You cannot fix another person. I don't care what you do.
Okay.
Because it may work for a hot New York minute, and then it goes right back to where it's supposed to be. The only person you can fix is yourself.
Word.
Remember that. Don't be calling me next week like, Miss Regina, the shit didn't hit your fan.
I was given a vision, told me about fishing when I became waiter. I hopped in that water, no flippers or goggles. I swam to the bottom, my hand on that clam, I get at my daughter. My father be calling, is checking up on me. I feel kind of funny when missing his call. My brother just buried his father. Another just wonders if it's even missing at all. I be looking for hints, trying to ascend. Follow your heart instead of your friends. Spiritual guides keep me alive. I can't look out if I can't.